Hello, peoples and persons of all ages. It is I, Kazriam, and it was my birthday 11 days ago. And after having an incredible party with all my many friends who are very real and totally exist, I thought I'd give you all the least asked for but most gifted gift of all time. Knowledge. I'm now 25. Sorry, I just meant that. I'm now 25. Oh, my frog, over a quarter of my life is gone. I should be scaling Mount Moon or something. I don't know. I'm a video essay YouTuber. I don't go outside. And instead, I'm making a video about what? Silly frog show? Maybe I should just turn off the computer and make something of my life. Holy crap, 50,000 subscribers! Well, thank you, everyone. I can't believe this. What was I talking about again? Oh, right, Silly Frog Show. Or was there more to it than what it initially seemed? Let me ask you a simple question. What is the perfect episode of Amphibia? You may have an immediate answer, but remember, not best episode, the perfect episode. Now, because I know some people might take issue with the idea of perfect when it comes to describing anything, I think it's important to make a distinction. Yes, there is no such thing as a perfect show, but there is such a thing as a perfect episode of a show. An episode that takes all the best aspects of that show, puts it front and center, and even expands upon what makes that show great in the first place. So when it comes to a show like Amphibia, it's surprisingly harder to identify that one episode than you think. The show has 3 complete seasons, Disney, that are loaded to the brim with well-written, hilarious, and heartwarming episodes. And also Spider Sprig. Season 1 served as a solid foundation for the second to swing some groundbreaking momentum into the series into a flawed, but overall good third season. So today, I invite you on another analytical journey to one of the greatest adventures known to Frog, to answer the question at the top of this video. In order to do that though, we first need to answer what makes Amphibia, Amphibia. What kind of show even is it? Is it a slice of life series? A plot-driven one? An expose of the criminal activities of Hop Up?
Have you killed a man, Hop Up?
Boss, we just found a body in vat number 3.
What? Oh, will you look at the time? Gotta go, bye!
Well, I went through and rewatched every single episode and analyzed the entirety of the show in order to break down which episodes were the most impactful. It was a lot of work, but hey, let me know if you'd like more Amphibia content from me, because I know you all like the Owl House, but I'm not so sure about Amphibia. Don't want another Spider-Verse situation on my hands, am I right? Shout out to my mom for refreshing those videos thousands of times. Love you, Mom! Anyway, let me know in the comments if you need some more Frog in your feed. So let's break this down. At the center of Amphibia's story is Anne Boonchoi, a 13-year-old middle school student who gets transported to another dimension with her 2 friends, Marcy and Sasha, after stealing a mysterious-looking music box from an antique shop. The place they end up landing in, separately, is known as Amphibia, a land of the wild unknown with the frogs and toads, and they're far from home. Anne is discovered by a young frog named Sprig, who decides to befriend her after finding out that she's not, in fact, a horrifying monster of death, but in reality, a horrifying monster of chill vibes and good intentions. Most of the time. She ends up getting taken under the wing of Sprig's Hop Hop, a dedicated farmer, lead quote generator for the show, and keeper of young girls in his basement.
She lived in my basement!
He acts as the guardian of Sprig and his tadpole sister, Polly, who lost their parents long ago for reasons. They all live together in the rural town of Wartwood, where they get into all sorts of crazy dangerous situations, bond with each other, and learn life lessons that make them better people, or amphibians, I guess, in the first season. And while Amphibia's perfect episode doesn't take place during the first, it in a way encapsulates what made the perfect episode work as well as it did. The second season, in sharp contrast to the first, takes place over a road trip to and in the capital city of Newtopia, where they get into all sorts of crazy dangerous situations, bond with each other, and learn life lessons that make them better people, or amphibians, in the most original idea for a season since the first one. In case you can't tell, I'm joking. The second season is my personal favorite and widely regarded as the best of the show, and for good reason. Not only does it have the fun antics and excellent character writing of the first, but it's also funnier, more interesting in terms of plot and goals for the cast to pursue, and offers a deeper exploration into the world and characters than we ever got before. At the core of all these things are Amphibia's colorful cast of quirky and fun characters, who are so well-rounded that even one-off characters feature memorable designs and personalities that make the world of Amphibia lovingly unique and better realized compared to Disney Channel's other offerings, the Owl House included. Speaking of that, I believe Amphibia is at its best when it's a character-driven show. This is where you get episodes like The Dinner or The Day at the Aquarium that are carried by excellent characterization and the occasional well-earned emotional moment that I took like a perfectly reasonable adult and only cried for 20 minutes. Now I could bore you with erroneous possible episodes that I believe could be the perfect episode of Amphibia in order to artificially inflate that all-important watch time so YouTube doesn't break my kneecaps. Again. But I'm not going to do that. While there are plenty of episodes that are fantastic in their own right, and I encourage you to comment what you believe the perfect episode of the show is, for me, most of them don't even come close. The episode I believe to be the perfect episode of Amphibia is Season 2, Episode 9, Segment 2, Hopping Mall. Say what? Hopping Mall? I mean, it's good, but the one perfect episode of the show? What about the hardest thing? True Colors, Spider Sprig? If you answered that last one, then hi. My name is Danny, and you may be struggling with a condition called trash taste. One in every single person struggles with trash taste on a daily basis, but thankfully, there's a cure. Subscribing to the Kazrium YouTube channel is the only known protection against trash taste. Subscribe right now for the low price of free $3.99, and for the first 9 billion subscribers, I'll even throw in absolutely nothing. Don't suffer in silence. Suffer while I scream at you. The Kazrium YouTube channel. Yes, while there are plenty of things that episodes like All In, After the Rain, The Core and the King, hot dang, this show had a lot of good episodes, all might do better than Hopping Mall. Hopping Mall is profoundly unique in how it chooses not to use a grandiose or overarching story to tell a more compelling narrative like the previous examples, but something more simplistic, fairly ordinary within a standard episode of the show, and you know what? This episode introduced something critical, something that completely recontextualized the entire series and, dare I say, made all those non-plot driven episodes that came before it just as important, if not more so, than the plot driven ones. Yeah, that's right, I'm calling you out. Oh, you like True Colors but are skipping Sprig Gets Schooled? Well, sit down and learn, because you gotta eat your vegetables before your dessert whether you like it or not. In Amphibia, especially up to that point in the show, you get a few fairly standard formulas that the episodes follow, and Hopping Mall is no different. In this particular instance, the formula for the A-plot is as follows. A character finds something that they want, but they need to overcome something to get it. They attempt to overcome this obstacle by working together and either get the thing or don't, while gaining a life lesson that is much more important to them than just this one thing they were trying to get. One last laugh and roll credits. There are plenty of episodes that follow this approach. The Big Bug Ball Game, Cane Crazy, The Bizarre Bazaar, and, well, Hopping Mall. In this episode, the Planters are at an outdoor shopping mall, and they want to shop for souvenirs to bring back to Wartwood. They don't have much money due to Hop Hop forbidding the use of the royal credit card, so they try to find something that is cheap but meaningful. Anne and Sprig break off to try to find something for Ivy, and because Anne has meaningful gifts on her mind, her mom, to the surprise of Sprig. They end up coming across the perfect gift for her, a beautiful teapot decorated with butterflies. Luckily, it turns out that this teapot is the prize in a competition, the Smash and Mash Derby. This means that Anne can still get this beautiful gift for her mom for free. There's the thing that the character wants. But it turns out that there's a newt that's the reigning champion and gunning for the prize fiercely, Priscilla the Killa and her daughter Pearl. There's your more obvious obstacle to overcome. And even though that Priscilla, and to a lesser extent Pearl, is incredibly overconfident and rude to Anne and Sprig, just like your average episodic antagonist, something immediately apparent is just how strong their relationship is. From telling Pearl to write her own name to spell winner, to being concerned about her mom's health and well-being over winning the prize, Priscilla and Pearl have a strong, healthy bond, instantly setting them apart from previous antagonists who are part of the same formula, such as, and this fits especially well because this is another competition-based episode, Mayor Toadstool in the Big Bug Ball game, who was also a rude, arrogant, several times winner. And yeah, he developed more positive character traits after that episode, but Priscilla and Pearl were already caring and empathetic from when we first meet them in this one. It's a subtle change in the formula, but an important one, which we'll talk about later. With this, the stage is set for the A-plot, while Polly and Hop Pop find their own, equally crazed shopping spree/unethical torture to fill the majority of the comedy for the B-plot. While picking out carts for the Derby, Anne finds out about a tail injury that Priscilla has and seeks to take advantage of it during the competition. And after a wombo combo and definite out-of-bounds violation, Anne, Sprig, Priscilla, and Pearl are about to crash into Polly and her blackmailed gains before taking two different approaches to avoid crashing. Anne and Sprig hop over her, while Priscilla, more concerned about Polly's well-being than winning, ends up using her injured tail to brake just before crashing into her. Anne and Sprig use this exact moment to take them out, destroying Sprig's precious gift to Ivy in the process. After winning the prize, Priscilla approaches Anne, who expects a fight of some sort since most encounters like this were with self-absorbed sore winners, but instead is surprised to be congratulated by a humbled Priscilla for winning the prize fair and square. After realizing that this teapot was the last thing left by Priscilla's mother, Anne offers it to her instead. Pearl ends up reflecting this kindness back and offers her a near-perfect alternative to the teapot as a gift for her mom, ultimately doing what Hop Pop was hoping for, and that was finding a special gift from the heart to give as a souvenir for a loved one. One quick laugh of Hop Pop violating his own rules for his own selfish desires later, and this standard adventure of the week for the Planters comes to an end. Roll credits. At least, that's what you'd expect the episode to do. After all, that's the formula. Anne found what she wanted, overcame the obstacle to get it, and even though that she didn't end up getting the prize that she wanted, she got an equally valuable trinket and an important life lesson. But instead, we fade to the hotel room in the middle of the night. Sprig wakes up from a bad dream and turns to talk to Anne about it, only to find her on the balcony staring at the butterfly trinket. Sprig gets up and, knowing something is wrong, talks to her about how her mom is going to love the gift, leading Anne to talk about some of the quirks about her mom and how annoying they were, but how much she missed them and her more than anything. And as I am on the verge of tears watching this hundreds of miles away from my own mom in my own college dorm room, this episode says, "Oh, you thought this was sad? You were on the verge of tears? I haven't even revealed my trap card." Sprig says one line of dialogue that completely shifts your perspective of the episode.
It's cool you know your mom, though. Mine passed away when me and Polly were really young.
Line after line, it hurts more and more to the point where Anne does the ethical thing and finally ends her suffering by giving Sprig a hug as the music swells to one of the most emotional pieces of the entire series. Why am I crying while writing this? I know how this ends. I'm still crying while recording it. I just wrote this. This episode is so good that the team even made a special credit sequence. They are fully aware that they knocked it out of the park with this one. And look, I know that some people might say that Hopping Mall is only notable because of this final scene, but frankly, I couldn't disagree more because of one word you've heard time and time again: filler. Especially in Amphibia, with over 100 individual segments, you'll hear that word come up constantly. What episodes you can skip, which episodes are bad and not worth your time because they didn't advance the plot. The fact that this final scene is tacked on at the end of a standard Adventure of the Week, otherwise filler episode, makes it more impactful and important than if it were a part of a plot-driven character study like After the Rain or Corn the King. This could have totally been one of those kinds of episodes, and it could have also been great, but the fact that it isn't makes it serve an even greater purpose. It's honestly the perfect rebuttal to the idea of filler in Amphibia. Does it advance the plot? No. Is it good for world building? Not really. But does it make you care about these characters? Yes. Definitely. Absolutely. I'll be 100% honest with you, I was one of those people who didn't care for the first season since no plot developments took place for the longest time. I completely wrote the show off until it got more plot heavy in season 2, but Hopping Mall was the episode that made me realize that going in with the mentality that the plot is what was most important was robbing me of a legitimately amazing, heartwarming show. Rewatching the show with that in mind, I was surprised that the first season was so much better than I remembered. Like Anne, you get so focused on one thing that you completely miss something wonderful right in front of you. It's not perfect, not even one of the funnier episodes of the show, which is especially bad for one that wasn't plot heavy, but you know and feel what these characters go through because of episodes like Hopping Mall, which is exactly its point. Every episode, even the ones that aren't plot driven, serve a purpose, and it's easy to forget that over conversations of what you can just skip because it doesn't have anything to do with the destination. Except Spider-Sprig frogged that episode. Hopping Mall being able to communicate all this in such a short period of time is amazing, but there was something special about this episode that I couldn't quite put my finger on, even beyond recontextualizing filler episodes. And eventually, I realized what makes Hopping Mall so special. This show is funny, it's charming, it's really great. But that's all it really was to me. Really great. It had kind of a rough first season, and so far, much better second season, but for me, it never really was a show that you'd go out of your way to recommend to a friend like Gravity Falls or The Owl House were. But this episode managed to do something that the show failed to do for a full 28 full episodes and 56 segments up to that point. It surprised me. With just the last few seconds of the episode, it managed to not only highlight the emotional theme of it, but also shift your perspective to show the true heart of why it matters on a deeper level. Throughout this episode, everything at its core was tied to the love that connects us to others. From finding a special gift from the heart for someone you love, to the special bond between mother and child and how our various experiences can affect that in different ways. The episode pushes you to remember how important these bonds are and think of Anne and how she must be feeling to be separated from her own mother. But instead, the entire time, it's been about Sprig. His surprise of Anne getting a gift for her mom stemmed from his own forget of what it was like to have one. He knows logically how important it is, so he tries to find the perfect gift for her, and even goes as far as to sacrifice his own gift for Ivy to get it. Even after all that, he comforts Anne as she reminisces about her mom when Sprig can never see his again. This episode silently beats Sprig down, and you don't even realize it until that one line of dialogue. And you'd think that this line confirms that the theme to be one of loss and sacrifice, but no. Anne, unspoken, reaffirms what makes Hopping Mall the perfect episode of the show. Something that is unquestionably rooted into the very soul of Amphibia itself. Connection. Ultimately, Amphibia is the story about the bonds we forge throughout our lives and how we can find companionship and love in the most unexpected places. Whether between friends, biological, or found families, these relationships are what binds us and keeps us going over lifetimes. Through distance, dimensions, and even death. These bonds live in us all and affect us even when the ones we loved are gone. It can be the hardest thing to realize you can't hold onto something forever. Sometimes, you have to let it go. But in these final moments, remember that somehow, some way, that love still reaches you. So don't close yourself off. Open your heart and follow it.
Oh no, it kills Sprig!